Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It is exactly 9:49 a.m. We're into the final interview of the morning, and we are now going to be talking to Zama Ntshona, ATM National Spokesperson. And we are going to be looking at the challenges, ATM challenging the secret ballot decision on Section 89 report vote. A very good morning to you, Zama. Welcome to the program. Zama, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning to you and the listeners.
Thank you indeed. Thank you for your time. We do value it. Now, we understand that the African Transformation Movement says that Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula ignored a toxic political environment when she denied a secret ballot in the vote on the Section 89 Phala Phala report. Obviously, the party wants the court to review and set aside that decision. Let's understand why.
Thank you so much. It's true that the African Transformation Movement, we are asking the court to set aside that particular decision because of a number of reasons. One, if you remember Part 6 of the Zondo Commission, it makes it clear that one of the things that contributed to Parliament not being able, or the paralysis of Parliament in not being able to keep the executive accountable, was the issue of Parliament getting directives from outside Parliament on how they could actually function and actually conduct themselves, and even in matters of making decisions. That was one of the contributing factors that led to the paralysis of the fifth administration. Number two, when you look at the UDM versus the Speaker case, the Chief Justice, the then Chief Justice Mogoeng makes it clear that whenever there is a threat to either the lives or the livelihood of members of Parliament, it is important to prioritize the issue of protection of members of Parliament so that they may be able to dispatch their duty to perform to the fullest in line with their oath of office. And we believe that going to this particular vote, there were clear, glaring instances where the issues that I've mentioned and the councils of the particular platforms which I've mentioned, which actually took place, which warranted that the Speaker makes a decision to protect members of Parliament. One, there was an NEC meeting. In that NEC meeting, there was a decision that said, if you do not toe the party line, you might as well pack your bags and leave. Members of Parliament voted under duress. And the second one was when members of Parliament were given their threats, General Olumisa and Mr. Nyonso. So that creates a conducive environment for a secret ballot.
Okay, so really what you're talking about is high-level victimization, and obviously nobody wants to be in the firing line. What happens now? We also understand that Advocate Anton Katz, on behalf of the ATM, has been relying on past judgments relating to secret ballots to argue a trend against permitting them. Am I right?
Yes, we are using trends. We are using current examples, because the examples which we are using trends to advance the point of the current occurrence. Because the issue of the SMSs, issues of the SMS death threats, are issues that happened days before the open ballot. The issue of the threat of people losing their livelihoods and even being evicted from the party or losing their membership, those were actual occurrences which we made the Speaker aware of. It was not only the African Transformation Movement, the other opposition parties as well did that. But because the Speaker did not want to listen to the counsels of such political parties and even the judges of those countries, because she wanted to pull party lines, she actually effort. So we are now at the Western Cape High Court saying that court must set that decision aside so that the issue goes back to Parliament. Remember, Parliament spent 5 million rand on the generation of the Section 89 independent report, in which found that there is prima facie case that the president needs to answer to some of the issues that are even contained in his own affidavit. So in holding the president accountable, the court must set aside this particular decision so that this issue goes back so that we can start the vote afresh in a secret manner and with outcomes that would give us the impeachment committee so that we commence with the issue of investigating the irregularities and the violations of the president.
Okay, so you've made that crystal clear, and it makes so much of sense given that obviously there's issues around victimization. How confident are you that this will in fact be the case, that you will be allowed to vote, cast your ballot in secret, so that you're not the target of perhaps losing your seat or possibly being targeted and being killed, even for that matter? Where do you stand? Where does the ATM stand? How confident are you that you can get this passed? It also means going back to court, does it not?
We believe that we have a very strong case. We believe that we have compelling reasons, and we believe that the circumstances of us actually asking for this actually require this. For instance, the Constitution says in the event that there is, when electing a president, there are two hands or two names that have been raised. It says a secret ballot explicitly. Now, if when putting a president on the throne, there is a requirement of a secret ballot, how much more when you dethrone a president? Because the stakes are higher. It is under those circumstances that we believe that the superior logic would have to reign in the judges, in the full bench, so that the full bench can see the real threat. It is more dangerous to try and dethrone a president than to put him in place. And therefore the stakes are higher, and those higher stakes require the protection of the members of parliament. So we believe that we have a compelling case. It is upon the justice system of this country to actually have ears and make the right pronouncement on the matter.
Okay, how soon are you going back to court?
At 10 o'clock today.
Oh, wow.
In 3 minutes time. In 3 minutes
time. Okay. Lots of best wishes.
Ready to start.
Yeah, okay. Listen, keep strong. I'm not going to delay you any longer. We will probably hook up with you later in the week or early next week to hear what was the outcome, maybe even as soon as tomorrow. But you know how the courts operate. It might, be postponed for whatever reason. The opposite party may use delaying tactics. As we're all aware, these things happen over and over again. So good luck. We will be hooking up with you soon, very soon indeed.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
That was Zama talking to us, Zama Ntshona. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Zama Ntshona. He's with the ATM National Spokesperson regarding the Phala Phala report. They are calling for the court to overturn the ruling on the secret ballots. I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I've just had a moment of tongue twisting back then. Maybe I need a glass of water. I don't know. All right. It is exactly 9:59 a.m. On a serious note now, guys, Ashraful Aid is standing by to talk to us. And that, of course, is Maulana Suhail Wadi. Please stand by.